Welcome back, I'm Jojo, a designer and audiophile. This sleepy boy is Toomey. Diving in Facebook Marketplace is fun. It's like Craigslist, 99% trash and 1% gold. The speaker I'm going to share with you today is my latest snatch. It is none other than the LSA-1 Signature bookshelf speaker from the LSA group. A pair of vintage speakers originally retailed for $1,799 that probably no one ever heard of. Thanks to Devin from Faded Blue in Denton, Texas. If you're close to Denton, make sure to give them a visit. A nice boutique shop with vintage collectibles, old records and gems like the speakers I got from time to time. Devin gave me a great deal for the LSA-1 Signature with a set of Bowers & Wilkins stands altered by the previous owner to counterfeit the LSA-1 Signature. The effort put in for the LSA-1 Signature by the previous owner shows lots of care and love for these speakers. Interesting. And this is actually the second time I saw LSA speakers on Marketplace. The first time was a pair of LSA-2 floor standing. The high quality cabinet of them stands out from the normal stuff you see on Facebook, so I started digging. The brand LSA Group stands for Live Sound Audio, or originally Larry Staples Audio, who founded the company. LSA is rather boutique brand that originated in Louisville and now owns by Underwood Hifi in Maui. I miss Hawaii. Oof. Soon after, Underwood switched the brand to a factory direct business model, making the price of LSA products really competitive in the hi-fi world. And they are still in business. Their current speaker products are the LSA-10, LSA-20, and they even have headphones too. The price range for their products starting around $2,000 a pair, so you can have an idea of what brackets that brand is competing in. While researching info about this specific speaker, the LSA-1 Signature is little to none. People and reviewers focus more on the top-of-the-line LSA-1 statement. Good thing is that most of the scattered feedback about the LSA speakers I found was highly positive. In a thread on AudioGone, Larry himself even claimed that at the time LSA-1 outperformed the B&W audiophile, which MSRP for $2,500 at the time. The LSA-1 has three levels: the standard LSA-1, the LSA-1 Signature, and the LSA-1 Statement. For the LSA-1 Signature, LA's VP and Chief Engineer at the time, John Tucker, modified the speaker significantly. Those modifications including upgraded tweeter to VFA dual ring radiator, providing flat frequency response past 35 kHz, upgraded crossover capacitors to dynamic cap, metallized polypropylene, and also upgraded acoustic treatment inside the cabinet from synthetic polyfill to lamb's wool. And here is the cherry on top. The top-of-the-line LSA-1 Statement was named one of the 10 best under $3,000 speakers by Absolute Sound in 2016. So when I saw the LSA-1 Signature pop up on Facebook Marketplace, I bite the bullet. How does the vintage speaker from 2006 performs in 2021? Let's find out. The build quality of LSA-1 Signature is good, but one or two steps away from being great. The rosewood veneer, the smooth matte finishing, and the teardrop-shaped cabinet tell you that it is definitely not cheap. The brand said the unique cabinet shape was designed to generate a wider sweet spot for listening. The woofer and tweeter units were mounted with exposed screws. This straightforward mounting method prevents the LSA-1 Signature from being considered as true high-end, that every detail should be refined and flawless. But on the other end, this also means that the LSA-1 Signature is easy to be upgraded. On the back, we have two sets of binding posts and a plate with LSA's logo. Overall, it is a classy and honest-looking speaker. For some people, it might be too plain or old-fashioned. Fortunately, I like stuff with history, and old-fashioned is one of my favorite drinks. Shout out to old-fashioned fans. The sound of the LSA-1 Signature is special. It is something with distinct characters that tells you it is in a different league from the entry-level or budget speakers. If I'm going to describe it, I would say they sound like a fine whiskey. Not the ultimate super expensive one, but a fine whiskey that soothes you without feeling pressured. The LSA-1 Signature is warm and has a full and meaty sound, similar to guess what? Whiskey. The slightly sick feeling with a warm amber tone, smooth, but also has that oomph and a little spicy. These characters even match with the classy rosewood cabinet and the honest look. From my testing, I would guess that the frequency response is rather neutral, but there might be some dips in mid-highs, or the whole frequency curve is going downward with treble being recessed. I went through my testing zone and some of my favorite to get a better feeling about the LSA-1 Signature sound. Miles Davis' Round About Midnight was one of them. This classic jazz album is somewhat shadowed by his other albums like Working with the Miles Davis Quintet and Relaxing with the Miles Davis Quintet. But this one, the Round About Midnight, is my favorite. You can see there, back there. The cover looks like Miles is basking under a red color streetlight at midnight, chilling and meditating. That unapologizing and boldness of the cover shows in the music too. I always use the first track, Round Midnight, to test the highs because that super duper sharp and long trumpet note in the song can be unbearable if the speaker's high is too bright. And also Norah Jones' classic first album, Come Away With Me, is another album I use. The song Don't Know Why is another testament to treble and mid-high. She bursts into high notes in that song from time to time, so if your speaker, this mid-high and high treble area is tilted up too much, it can be really annoying. The LSA-1 Signature passed on both songs with ease. The smooth and open highs surprised me, although it is slightly grainy, so it's not the highest in resolutions. But the tonality, the texture, the separations, and airiness make it really enjoyable. The vocal is another strength of the LSA-1 Signature, although it doesn't push the singer forward. The tonality, the solid feeling, and sweetness in the vocal were beautiful. I love listening and testing vocal with Billie Eilish's I Don't Wanna Be You Anymore from her first album Don't Smile At Me, and any of Taiwanese singer Cai Qing's album. She's like the Adele of the East if you never heard of her. But if you watch the movie Infernal Affairs, I mean the Hong Kong one, not Martin Scorsese's one, that iconic song the character used for testing the hi-fi system in the movie was her song. On the LSA-1 Signature, it delivers the breathing, the sweetness, and the smoothness in the vocal indefinitely. The bass region of the LSA-1 Signature is not the fastest or tightest. It is punchy, bouncy, and full for being a bookshelf speaker. LSA-1 Signature is also not the deepest or the most dynamic speaker, but its bass has wonderful texture and a little oomph to it. I love Hans Zimmer's soundtrack for testing the bass and dynamic. Songs like Why So Serious from The Dark Knight, Furnace from Blade Runner 2049, and Mountains from The Interstellar are all solid bangers. LSA-1 Signature did a good job, but showing its limit for being a bookshelf speaker. It doesn't generate that super grand scene to consume you or showing that full dynamic those soundtracks have. The LSA-1 Signature shows you the picture in a more polite way. But for reproducing instruments like bass or cello, the LSA-1 Signature gives me a lot of smile. The soundstage. The soundstage of the LSA-1 Signature is natural. It is not widespread like CAFs or super deep like B&W. The soundstage is slightly wider than where you set the speakers. It also has a pleasant amount of depth, just not as deep as B&W. It's like the LSA-1 forms a decent sized stage in front of you, and you are at a comfortable distance where you can clearly see the performance without overwhelm like what clip speakers do. Some people might think this too polite, I need more lively, more close to the stage. But for me, it feels natural and it feels just right. The imaging of the LSA-1 Signature is wonderful. You can pinpoint all the band members on the stage and even touch them. And because of the natural size soundstage, you will feel like being in the small to medium-sized venue with your favorite artist or band without feeling cramped. Wonderful stuff. Great for jazz and other smaller scale arrangement music which match with this effect. Now the caveat of the LSA-1 Signature. While researching, I found that Danny from GRresearch is the only other people has a video about a standard LSA-1. He points out the measurement of the LSA-1 was not impressive. There's a dip in frequency response and the not so great off-axis performance caused by the far apart tweeter and woofer and the high crossover point. I have to agree that some of the problems he points out might still present on the LSA-1 Signature despite having significant upgrades. Like I said in the sound quality part, the highs of the LSA-1 Signature are recessed. Sometimes you might feel the high or a certain range of sound seems too recessed. This situation is more pronounced when you try to listen from different heights or a more extreme listening position which reflects Danny's measurements. Another caveat reflecting Danny's measurement is the sweet spot for the LSA-1 Signature isn't wide. The LSA-1 Signature can maintain good imaging and soundstage if you stay within the circle around the center spot that is about 3 people wide in diameter. The LSA-1 will gladly give you solid performance within. However, if you go beyond the width of each speaker, the soundstage shifted and loses its accuracy. The final thing is that LSA-1 Signature is a speaker that you need to experience with placements. Its performance varies a lot with different placements. In other words, it can be picky for how you place them, but when you find a spot for them, they will hit your spot. Where do I think the LSA-1 Signature best fits? A mid-sized to large-sized bedroom is a great fit. I use them in my bedroom as a second setup. The lush sound, the smooth high, and warm character are so nice for afterward relaxation. With a whiskey in hand and a nice jazz album, heavenly. The sound of LSA-1 Signature has that weight and steadiness you don't get with entry-level speakers. But if you want to use them as main speakers in the living room, watching movies and such, they might be too polite for that. You might need a subwoofer or going with the tower version doing in that scenario. So is the LSA-1 Signature a hidden gem? To me, yes. Although being an old design from 2006, which is like 15 years ago? Jeez. Along the way, I think they still have some upgrades, but I think it still delivers the taste of the high-end sound. It makes me want to upgrade my gear to squeeze out more potential. Can it surpass speakers like the current B&W A05 D3 or the old B&W A05S? I probably won't go that far, but its warm and non-fatiguing sound character makes it a keeper for me. And shortly, I even want to bring them to GRresearch and see what kind of magic Danny can do to them and make them even better. And I might look like an idiot saying the LSA-1 Signature sounds good. If you don't want to miss that when the episode comes out, remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you like the show, please hit the like button and share your thoughts with me in the comment sections. That's all I got for today, and we'll see you next time. Peace.